Tanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Sadhu Sangha Nama Kirtan Bhagavata Shravana Mathura Vasa Srimurtira Shraddhaya Sevana Sakala Sadhana Shrishtai Pancheranga Krishna Prema Janmai Puna Mukhya Anga Paramananda Pathaya Prema Varshi Aksharayate Sarvada Sarvasevyaya Shri Krishnaya Namostate. O Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, I offer my respectful obeisance unto you. By reading you, one attains transcendental bliss, for your syllables rain pure love of God upon the reader. You're always to be served by everyone, for you are an incarnation of Lord Sri Hare Kṛṣṇa. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udiraye Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityaṁ bhāgavata-sevayā Bhagavati Uttama-shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Nashtaki Shrinvatam Sakatha Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana Hridayantasti Abhadrani Vidunoti Smritsatam. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschat Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Caitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, dear worshipful devotees, thank you so much for joining. Samarpan Prabhu, Baldev Prabhu, Raghu Prabhu, Baswati Mataji, Philip Prabhu, Vasudhir Prabhu, Vijay Mataji, and Nayan Saha Prabhu. Thank you so much for your kind association. We are reading Canto 10 of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, chapter 23, and interestingly, we are at text 24. Right? Yes. So 24. Text 24. So we read till text number 23 yesterday, and we were talking about the importance of hearing and repeated hearing. Because why repeated hearing? As we read, for a long time they were hearing repeatedly. We covered this. Yes, right? We covered this.
Yes.
So we covered that. Yes. So they yes, Randhra and Aksha. They were repeatedly hearing. And through repeatedly hearing, basically what's happening, repeatedly those impressions are going in our heart. Anything we do repeatedly, those impressions are going in our heart. And from the conscious state, it also goes to the subconscious mind, right? Anything we do repeatedly, whether watching like a movie song, if we do it repeatedly, then first we'll consciously sing, then we will subconsciously sing that. Same applies to chanting of the holy name, reading of Bhagavatam. First, we have to consciously sing, and then in our free time, let's say we are walking or talking, or in subconscious state also, those words for the holy name, those words for the bhajan or the verses will continue to come in our minds. And that's what we also read. Ni magna manasaha. That means the mind was engaged. So hearing is very, very important and very, very important. So let's move on and hear Bhagavatam from Shukdev Goswami and Prabhupada. Tas-tatha tyakta sarvasha prapta atma didikshraya vigyakhila drishta praha prahisittananaha. Translation by the disciples of His Divine Grace, Avicharana Aravinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada, Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai, Shri Prabhupada disciples Ki Jai. And just to note, one of the dear Prabhupada disciples, His Grace Brahmananda Prabhu, left his body yesterday. He was very, very dear to Prabhupada, very, very instrumental in the early days of Iskcon, gave his life and soul and everything, and did a lot of services, especially in the early days, and was very dear to Prabhupada. So he left his body yesterday. So let's pray that Prabhupada engages him in different planet, in different, as per Prabhupada's desire, and may he always be at Prabhupada's lotus feet, and may Lord Krishna give him eternal residence at his lotus feet, in Prabhupada's lotus feet. Hare Kṛṣṇa, Hare Kṛṣṇa, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Grace Brahman Prabhu ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai. The translation. Lord Krishna, who witnesses the thoughts of all the creatures, understood how those ladies had abandoned all worldly hopes and come there simply to see him. Thus, he addressed them as follows with a smile upon his face. Hare Krishna. So we read that a river, in spite of all the obstacles, cannot stop. The river will merge into the ocean, or river will enter the ocean, right? We read in the past few verses. So their eagerness, and then we also read about some of the obstacles, like the husbands, brothers, sons, etc., etc. They were trying to, through different ways they were trying. Hey, you don't go. What will people say, right? Your husbands are doing yajna and you're busy going there, right, to Krishna, right? And the sasur means the father-in-law. They're also saying in different way, oh, that especially this is like 5,000 years back. So consider, the society was very thickly connected. Right now, neighbor, living, die, no one knows about it, right? But society is like it's like a village. Everyone knows what's happening at others' place, right? So basically, they tried to through different ways, through different logic and reasoning, to stop these ladies to not go. But their love for Krishna was so intense that in spite of all the obstacles, they could not be checked. They could not be checked. Okay. And they finally reached Krishna, and Krishna witnessed them and understood their emotions. That these are not ordinary devotees. They have given all the worldly hopes simply to see him. So that's really you can say like a remarkable thing. They had given up all the worldly hopes, because if they go back, there is complete risk. Will their husbands accept them back? Right? We read that in the previous verses, previous chapters also. So basically, that's how they did, like completely sarvasva thoma, sarva dharman parityaja. Don't worry. No, that's these Bhagavad Gita teaches us what Krishna is telling. The devotees in the Bhagavatam are living those principles, are living those teachings. Sarv dharma, they gave up all dharmas, Stri dharma, Pati dharma, wife dharma, and social dharma, whatever dharma they gave up. Sarv dharma, ordinary so-called morality. So Bhagavad Gita, as Chaitanya Prabhu was mentioning, that Bhagavad Gita is telling that, or that Krishna consciousness or transcendental knowledge is much higher than ordinary so-called morality. Because Arjuna was giving so-called moral ideas or logic to not fight. So-called morally they were so-called right? Oh, if I fight, I'll go to hell. If I fight when brothers are killed, what will happen? Who will I enjoy? They morally and logically, they somehow appear to be a little correct, but on the bodily level. But this, we're talking about transcendental intelligence. We're not talking about mundane bodily intelligence. So therefore, this is much higher subject than ordinary so-called bodily intelligence or material intelligence. Any comments, any thoughts anyone has?
Probably Lord Krishna never fails to reciprocate to our loving and devotional service, because he, in this verse, it is mentioned that he is also reciprocating to the devotees' devotions nicely with a face upon, with a smile upon his face.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for sharing that, Prabhu. Very nice. Let's read the next verse. Anyone who did not get chance yesterday, maybe those devotees can read first. Anyone?
Yeah, I can read.
Yes, please, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna devotees, text 25. Swagatam vo mahabhaga asyatam karavama kim yanno didrikshayat prapta upannam upapanam idam hiva. Translation and purport by the disciples of Śrī Prabhupada. Jai to the disciples and Śrī Prabhupada. Lord Krishna said, "Welcome, O most fortunate ladies. Please sit down and make yourselves comfortable. What can I do for you? That you have come here to see me is most appropriate." Just as Krishna welcomed the gopis who came to dance with him at night, he similarly welcomed the Brahmana's wives, whose pure love for him was proved by their overcoming many hindrances to see the Lord. The word upapanam indicates that although these ladies had rejected their husband's orders, their behavior was not at all inappropriate, since their husbands had obviously tried to obstruct the loving service to Lord Krishna. So the Brahmana's wives visited Lord Krishna. He welcomed them very nicely, asked them to sit down, and the ladies, although they were taking a big risk, they decided they went anyway. They knew that their husbands may not like it, but then their husbands themselves had actually ignored Krishna. So I think it was in their right to go and see him, and they knew nothing would happen. Thank you, Prabhu. Back to you.
Thank you so much, Raghu Prabhu, for reading this beautiful verse. So, another important, like just a thought came to my mind that actually, what did the Brahmanas or the Krishna's friend, what did they ask for? They asked for
food.
some food, right? Some prasadam to be given to Krishna. So the Brahmana Patnis, they did give that in large quantity and quality. We read that. But now it's interesting thing. They not only gave that, they actually gave themselves. It's not that the Krishna's friends asked, "Hey, Krishna is calling you, you report to him, he's waiting for you." Nothing like that, right? We didn't see that. The main reason was that the friends were feeling hungry and they were feigning hunger, and they went to the Brahmana Patnis, first the Brahmanas, then the Brahmana Patnis. But here we see that they did not just give food, they gave themselves, right? Like going above and beyond, right? That's what they say in this, like Hanuman. Hanuman also So in any service, he will always go above and beyond. He will do what is asked. So that's how a disciple's mood should be. We should certainly do what is asked in the right way, like that's the minimum. But if we can do something extra, that we learn here, and we also learn from Hanuman and many other characters, many other examples. So they basically, as Prabhu mentioned, they took the big risk. They took the risk, and they came to see the sight of the Supreme Lord. Because Lord Krishna is here. Well, how can we miss this opportunity? And Lord Krishna called them Mahabhaga, most fortunate, most fortunate. Because to develop such devotion for Krishna, irrespective of all the odds, all the moral so-called odds, or someone may have some, financial issues, someone may have some family issues, someone may have some health issues, someone may have some other issues. But still, when we see, wow, such a great devotion, that's certainly most fortunate, right? And we also feel that like someone, let's say, has a very bad disease, but still they are trying their best to chant the holy names. Someone is struggling financially, but still they are trying to go for the holy yatra, to see their guru, to be with the devotees. It is very, very, very fortunate thing. Someone is having some other challenges, but they still are doing their best to serve. That's, extra points, you can say, in the eyes of God, in the eyes of the Supreme Lord. When bhakti is easy, or when things are rosy cozy, and then we do something, it's fine. There will be some points there, or there'll be like some spiritual points or spiritual bank balance. But when the odds are against, when things are not going rosy cozy, still we try our best. That attracts special mercy in the eyes of God. So here it was not very smooth for the Brahmana Patnis, right? Everyone objected they're going to meet Krishna, as we read. Everyone. No one was supporting. Now, my dear friends, we are not artificially encouraging that if your husband is not supportive, leave the husband and go to Krishna consciousness. Or if someone's wife is not supportive, hey, forget about that. So we are not encouraging that artificially. We cannot imitate this behavior. We have to understand that aspect. But we can take some lessons and try to at least develop our faith more, right? Because we cannot imitate that unless we are at that level, right? Like, Vibhishana left his brother. Like there are so many examples. Even who was that? Shabari, right? Shabari is a classic example. You all know the story of Shabari, right? Shabari left the day of her marriage. She left her home. If we go back in her, a little bit past, it was her marriage day. She left her home to take shelter of Guru because her family was not supportive. Mirabai's example, classic example, she left her, what's the use of that husband was like. But of course, these are like very, very exalted examples, like here also. And if someone does so, someone may leave their job. That's relative. We have seen many people do that. Someone may leave their leave their job, which is not conducive for Krishna. Let me complete that. Or if it's a hindrance in the process of bhakti, if it's an obstacle. So in short, we have to understand the principles and develop ourselves internally. We have to follow more of the mood, what Lord Chaitanya told to the residents of Kuliagram, the Raghunath Das Goswami, that internally try to be Krishna conscious and externally keep acting in the world as the ordinary people do. Sthane sthita sthiti. This is a beautiful verse. Let's read that. Sthane sthita Yes, Śrī Caitanya. Tanuvan Manobhir. Let's read that. Since we're talking about this context, it's important. Lord Chaitanya also quotes this. It comes in Canto 10, text 14, chapter 14, text 3. Anyone knows which chapter is this? We have read this. 10.14. Which chapter is this? It's Prayers of Lord Brahma. Very beautiful chapter, a lot of important verses. So let's read this one. Anyone wants to read?
Okay, Prabhuji. Following devotees, done pranam, all gracious Śrī Prabhupada. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam 10.14.3. Gyane prayasham udapasya namanta eva ganti snan mukharitam bhavadiyo vartam sthane sthito shruti gatam tonubhan manobhir ye prayasya ajita jito api oshitastri lokam. Translation by His Divinity Sri Bhaktivinoda Prabhupada, Śrī Prabhupada ki Jai. Those who, even while remaining situated in their established social positions, throw away the process of speculative knowledge and with their body, words and mind offer all respects to descriptions of your personality and activities, dedicating their lives to these narrations, which are vibrated by you personally and by your pure devotees, certainly conquer your lordship, although you are otherwise unconquerable by anyone within the three worlds. Back to Hare Krishna.
Would someone would someone like to summarize what we read, what we just, like, in your words, want to paraphrase this verse? Anyone wants to try that?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes.
Just my simple reflection. Even those of us who are in the householder life, through engaging with the world, when we still somehow are able to remember Krishna and hear his pastimes and hear his holy names and give up all the invitations of the world to have ourselves be bodily identified and speculate and criticize, and that offering conquers the Lord, which I think means he really loves that. I think that's what that means, but yeah, Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much.
Prabhuji, I have a question. Would you mind me asking a question, Prabhuji?
Please tell Samartha.
Yeah. So I was wondering, Prabhuji, does this slok also reflect the principle of karma yoga as it is mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita, that performing work in Krishna consciousness? And I feel, yeah, that's what is my question, that does this same as what karma yoga has to tell us in Bhagavad Gita? Yeah. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Thank you. No, that's a very good point. See, Karma Yoga is certainly one of the subjects of Bhagavad Gita. But the main subject of Bhagavad Gita is Bhakti Yoga and action in Krishna consciousness, right? Chapter 5, if you see, and then from 6th onwards, it's Bhakti Yoga. Chapter 5 is Karma Yoga, action in Krishna consciousness, and chapter 6 onwards, the 7th, I believe 7th is on Bhakti Yoga. So often there's a very commonly asked question that I believe in karma, right? I believe in karma, right? Krishna is not asking Arjuna to stop karma. Yes, absolutely. But Krishna is also asking Arjuna Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mam anusmarya yuddhacha. So if we forget that first part, Krishna is not saying remember me or fight, like either or. Krishna is not saying just fight. Krishna is saying remember me and fight, right? So that is very important. So just doing our work dutifully is not karma yoga. Just being a good husband, being a good wife, being a good employee, being a good, let's say, clean person, dutiful, mode of goodness, that can be mode of goodness, right? Like you're clean, you're eating healthy food, you do some little yoga, do some little charity, this is like mode of goodness. You take care of your kids, take care of your husband, wife, etc. in a dutiful way, do some social responsibilities. That's mode of goodness. But often people think that is karma yoga. That is not karma yoga. Karma yoga is when it connects to Krishna, because otherwise it's only karma. And practically it could be sakarma or vikarma, good actions or bad actions, which will lead to good reactions or bad reactions, which will lead to higher or upper destinations, heavenly planets, or lead to bad destinations, lower modes, lower bodies, lower species, or lower planets, etc. But here we are talking about, yes, be in your, I'll come and reflect. This verse is also pure bhakti yoga. That remain wherever we are. Let's say we're in India, be in India. You're in New York, be in New York. You're married, stay, don't try to artificially change situations, right? Don't try to artificially change. Sthane sthita. Body, mind, and words. Body, mind, and words. BMW. With all your body, mind, and words, basically engaging our senses, our eyes, are like how we are using our mouth, our ears, our eyes, everything, our mind, our intelligence. For what? To hear about the description of the Supreme Lord. Of your refers to here, Brahma is telling actually about Krishna. So your here is not ours, but Krishna's. Description of your personality and activities. So those with their body, mind, and words offer all respect to the description of your or Krishna's personalities, activities, dedicating their lives upon these narrations, basically Krishna consciousness, Krishna Katha, which are vibrated by you. It's Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, personally, and by your pure devotees like Shukdev Goswami, Srila Prabhupada, etc. Certainly conquer your lordship. So this is the formula to conquer. So we see Bhagavatam is sharing both aspects. So in this verse, the focus is this. Sthane sthita. Sthane sthita. Shruti gatam tanuvan manobhi. Whatever place, sthan means place, whatever position, place, social customs, we have all those things, right? Krishna is not saying to abandon the home. Krishna is not telling abandon your wife or children. In whatever position we are, sthane sthita, be situated in that position, but engage in something. Engage in what? With your tanu, one, speech, mana, hear about Krishna, shruti gatham. So hear about Krishna through our body, mind, movements. So basically engage. And in that way, we will be able to conquer the unconquerable. Like the gopis, conquer the unconquerable. Krishna is Ajita. Ajita becomes Jita. That's the last line. Although you are otherwise unconquerable by anyone. So devotees can conquer you. Otherwise, you're unconquerable. So that's the meaning. And that is like bhakti yoga. Yes, devotees also have home, jobs, work, car, etc., etc. They also go to school, college. But the main intention is samsiddhim haritoshinam. Somehow or the other, please Krishna. Perfection of bhakti is to please Krishna, to remember Krishna, to serve Krishna. If that's not happening, if Krishna is not pleased through that work, it may be kind work, right? But it's just mode of goodness. Then it's not bhakti yoga. It's kind of it's basically it's not even karma yoga. It's even karma kanda. Karma kanda means it is going to lead to next birth. It's not a karma. It's a karma or vikarma, but not a karma. Krishna is telling Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita to do a karma, which does not lead to any reactions. Does that help, Prabhu?
Yes, definitely. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for enlightening me with this knowledge.
Prabhuji, I'm just repeating these words. So all glories to Prabhupada. Thank you. So any other thoughts, comments, either from this text, which was like a reference here, or from the previous one? Prabhupada is giving a nice commentary also here, or from this text which we just read.
I have one small, if you do not mind me asking, I'm going to ask a question for a second time.
Yes, Prabhu. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Be
Yeah.
comfortable. It's your. It's very like it's not like a. We are all like having nice, friendly discussions.
Absolutely, yeah. Prabhuji, when the verse says "conquer your lordship" in the translation, so what does it mean by conquering the lordship? Is it like conquering our own body, mind, and words, or how is it?
Anyone would like to respond to that? The Prabhuji is asking here in this text. The verse says 10:14, 3. What does it mean?
Hare Kṛṣṇa Prabhuji, I can try. So this is the Krishna says, I am Bhakta Odhin. Like when we do serious bhakti, become a genuine bhakta, then Krishna actually serves us. Actually, he does in a spiritual world. So that's why he doesn't eager to take us to there, because he has to do more work. So bhakti is tough, but once bhakti is gained, then Krishna, there's a competition goes on. Devotee serves Krishna or Krishna serves devotee. That is my understanding, Prabhuji.
Very nice. Anyone else wants to add? Any example to fit in this connection?
Like Arjun, Sharathi, Krishna has a Sharathi served Arjun, doing very menial job, getting kicked by the Arjun, but still serving Arjun.
Very nice.
Hare Krishna Prabhu and Bali Maharaj.
Bali
He
Maharaj.
gave everything what he has, and he gave himself. But Krishna became his doorkeeper in lower planets. So that much, even if we take one step, Krishna takes hundreds and thousands of steps towards his devotees. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Very well. Very nice.
No, even Prahlad, you could say, because he showed a lot of bhakti to Krishna and conquered him really, and then he was saved because of that. When the time came, he was saved.
Wonderful. All these are very appropriate examples. So yeah, basically Krishna says, I am the property of my devotees. Like Narad Muni, Krishna says, if Narad Muni says, give him mercy, I cannot say no. I'm like a henpecked husband, so I'm henpecked to my devotees, pure devotees. If they say something, I have to make it true. Like Prabhupada said, oh, Radha, Ras Bihari are going to stay here. They're not going to move. So many obstacles came, but Krishna arranged. Because a pure devotee has said that. So basically, Krishna is conquered by the love and devotion of a pure devotee. And he can go to any extent to to preserve, their vow to help them, to support them, to protect them. He can even break his own promise, like, Chakrapani, he lifted the chakra to protect the promise of his devotee. So, thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you, everyone, for helping me to understand.
Thank you, Prabhu. Let's read the next one, X26. Anyone wants to read this? Anyone who did not get a chance yesterday wants to try? Vijaya Mataji, I've not read for, I guess, a few days. You want to try? Okay, anyone in the audience wants to try?
I can try quickly.
Yes, please.
Nanvadha mai kurvanti kushala swarthadarshina ahetukya vyavahita bhakti matma priyatha. Translation by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Prabhupada Vijay. Certainly, expert personalities who can see their own true interests render unmotivated and uninterrupted devotional service directly unto me, for I am most dear to the soul. Purport. The Supreme Lord informed the Brahmanas' wives that not only they but all people who recognize their true self-interest take to the spiritual process of loving service to the Lord. Lord Krishna is Atma-priya, the real object of love for everyone. Although each individual has his own taste and freedom, ultimately every living being is a spiritual spark of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Thus, everyone's primary loving attraction is constitutionally meant for Lord Śrī Krishna. Loving service to the Lord should be ahetuki, without personal motive, and avyavahita, unobstructed by mental speculation, selfish desire, or any quirk of time and circumstance. Back to you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Sharma Mataji, for so nicely reading. You want to add any thoughts or reflections here?
No, Prabhuji, I will wait for your reflections on this. I feel like this is a very beautiful verse, and the last few verses have been very beautiful. And sometimes I feel like going back, rewinding, but then I remember it's a live session. So yes, I'll wait for your explanations.
Thank you. Who is speaking this verse to whom? Let's take up, because it's important sometimes to keep that in mind. Who is speaking this to whom? Anyone? Lord Krishna is speaking this to the Brahmana Patnis. So Lord Krishna is speaking this himself. Keep in mind, my dear friends, Lord Krishna is speaking this to the Brahmana Patnis. Nanu adha mai kurvanti kushala swartha darshinaha. Swa artha means those who want to know their true benefit. Artha means benefit, swa means self. What is true benefit for oneself? Or here self means true self, which means one spirit soul. Not talking about the body. So those who are expert, kushala, those who are expert in those who can see their true benefit, they render what kind of bhakti? Ahetuki, avyavahitam, uninterrupted, or apratihata, same meaning. So pure bhakti. They do not just render bhakti. They do not render bhakti for some material cause. Oh, give me home, give me child, give me car, give me husband, give me wife, give me this, right? That's some motive. That's not a hetuki. And they do not just come on Sundays. Oh, Sunday is Krishna conscious day. We'll go to the temple and rest 7 days, rest 6 days. or maybe 2 hours in a week for bhakti, rest 24/7 is whatever, like 200 hours for myself and 2 hours for maybe some temple or something. That's fine, but it's break, right? What's 2 hours out of 200 hours? It's like 1%. 99% for me, there's a big 99% break. 1% you start. Doesn't work very well. It's not pure bhakti. So 2 qualities for pure bhakti: ahetuki, apratihata, or vyavahitam, without break. Atma priye yatha. So those girls, great personalities, or those who are kushala, who can perceive their true self-interest, darshana, so artha, render unmotivated and uninterrupted service, devotional service to me, because I am the most dear to the soul. Krishna is our Atma Priya. Krishna is our real friend. Krishna Mata, Krishna Pita, Krishna Dhana Pran. Krishna is the seed-giving father. Krishna is our true ever well-wisher. We forget that. Let's see what Prahlad Maharaj speaks. Very, very similar verse. Prahlad Maharaj speaks in Canto 7, Chapter 5. Let's see what's the title of Chapter 5. Prahlad Maharaj, his quality, the saintly son of Hiranyakashipu. Let's read this also. Very important verse. Very, very important verse. Someone can read this, please. Nate vidu swarthagatim hi vishnum durashayame ye bahir arthamaninaha andha yathandhair upaniyamanas te pisha tantrayam uru damni baddha. Persons who are strongly entrapped by the consciousness of enjoying material life and who have therefore accepted as their leader or a guru a similar blind man attached to the external sense objects cannot understand that the goal of life is to return back to Godhead and engage in the service of Lord Vishnu. So you see, they cannot understand. So in this verse, there was like a positive, like what is Swa-artha? That's the word I was in my mind to connect to this verse, Swa-artha. Prahlad Maharaj is saying, what is Swa-artha? Nate vidu, they do not know what is Swa-artha. What is real benefit for the soul, for the self? The real benefit of the soul for the self is Gatim He Vishnu, is to take shelter. Durashaya, they're running Bahir Artha, they're running for outside. Bahir means outside. They're just searching external objects or outside the true self-interest of the soul. And they're thinking that as the real goal of life. As the blind men, guided by another blind man, miss the right path and fall into a ditch, materially attached men led by another materially attached man are bound by the ropes of fruitive labor, which are made of very strong cords, and they continue again and again in the materialistic life, suffering the threefold miseries. So basically, these 2 verses fit very nicely in this connection. One talks about in a negative, not in a negative, or in like a different way. Prahlad Maharaj is telling that those who do not focus on the true self-interest, they will be caught by material propaganda, and that's what we see majority of the population is, right? They're following andhan, blind leading the blind, right? Blind leading andha yathandhe upaniyamanas, andhan yathandhe upaniyamanas. So blind, that means so spiritually blind, who does not know what is true self-interest, what is Swa-artha, is guiding others. So what will they guide? Oh, the life's goal is to develop to be a millionaire, right? That's what 99% of the population think. And that's what the so-called society success parameters are also defined. Is it not? And if someone is saying, oh, come to me, I will teach you the formula to become millionaire in 1 year. Who will not follow him? Everyone will follow him, right? That's the parameter of success. That's the because they don't know what is Swartha, and they are teaching others who do not know Swartha. But what is real Swartha? I'm not saying, he or she is not saying Lord Krishna and his pure devotees. Prahlad is saying here, and Krishna is saying here himself. What is Swartha? Ahetu apratihata bhakti. This is Swartha. So our success in life should not be the parameter of how big of a job we have, how big of a home we have, how big of a car we have, or how big of a bank balance we have. This is not the parameter of success for one who is kushal, one who really knows the stuff, one who really is atmadarshi, who can perceive, who knows the true self-interest, who is expert, those great expert in the science of life, expert in the science of Atma. They know that whatever wealth and these so-called kind of motivational speakers or financial gurus or this guru, it's like a glower in the light of the sun, right? And therefore they keep changing. But our eternal heroes, these personalities, the personalities who are really expert in understanding what is real Swartha, their names are always eternal, like Prahlad Maharaj, like Prabhupada, like Dhruva Maharaj. They know real Swartha. So we should always follow them as our real heroes. Otherwise, we will also fall into the ditch of material world. Punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam. So real Swartha, real self-interest is to engage in pure bhakti. Krishna is saying himself, Prahlad Maharaj is saying. Hare Kṛṣṇa. Any thoughts, comments here?
Hare Kṛṣṇa, Prabhuji. Often when reading Srila Prabhupada's books, he speaks of like all these gurus who say, oh yeah, just do whatever you want, and you'll have God in 6 months or something, or all these people who just say to do whatever you want. And this is what really drives me crazy about Christianity as well, is that everyone just picks this one thing, like, oh, Jesus died for my sins, so I can do whatever I want, and then just ask for forgiveness. And the more I read Prabhupada's books, the more I realized, now I'm not saying that's what Christ said. I think Christ's message was perverted, and, but people have sort of made a fake Christ to be their own little guru in their own little heart, to tell them to do whatever they want. And so people don't even seek out a guru. They say, oh, okay, I guess I'm good, so I'll just show up a couple times a year and every now and then I'm going to heaven, and this is like, I don't want to like criticize anybody or but this, am I drawing a correct parallel here, that, is this like sort of like taking a guru that tells us we can do whatever we want sort of approach? Because this is something that I've faced a lot in my life. Yeah, hopefully I made that clear enough.
Yes, Prabhu. That's absolutely like a blind guru, right? Or people concocting, like Jesus Christ is a pure guru, right? But if someone, without reading the true teachings of Jesus Christ, if they just concoct, oh, thou shalt not kill, so that means we should not kill humans. That's like their concoction, right? So without understanding, like just reading one statement is, we have to understand the true message, right, of the pure guru, and try to truly follow. Prabhupada always said this, Jesus Christ is like our teacher, right? He's our guru. And if someone is purely following him, purely means, understanding the essence of his life, understanding the essence of his teachings, that person is certainly a pure person. But of course, why was he crucified? Little did he preach. People could not even take that. The 10 commandments are the basic, kind of first etiquettes for a human being. Thou shalt not kill, love your neighbor as yourself and stuff like that. So they are like, as we give this example, it's like a pocket dictionary. The information is correct, but it's not fully unveiled. So even that little people cannot take, what to speak of more. But Bhagavatam gives the full picture. So Prabhupada was always very respectful to Jesus Christ, and we all are. But those, as you said, they are self-concocted Jesus Christ, and even in Christianity, there are so many subdivisions and stuff. And people want a cheap and easy way out. That's unfortunately in every situation, in every country. Everyone wants to have a so-called a guru also, because they want to look pious, right? They want to look pious, so they want to have a stamp of guru. So if we want a stamp of guru, we will get that. If we want a pure guru, we'll get that. We get what we look for. So
Thank you, Prabhuji. I take solace in that we all get what we look for, and so it's okay that maybe they're just not looking for a pure guru. They're looking for a fake one, and then that's what they get. Is that what you're saying? That is how it works, I guess. Yeah. Thank you. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Hare Kṛṣṇa.
Demand and supply, right? And therefore, there are more fake gurus than pure gurus, because there are more people who want fake thing instead of the true thing. But that doesn't mean that all gurus are fake. That doesn't mean all followers are fake. But majority, they want, the guru should not tell us to do like in Iskcon, there are certain rules and regulations, principles, protocols, right? Especially if someone wants to take serious commitment, there are certain rules and regulations. So to uphold the purity for oneself and the society. But if one does not want that, many people, they come to Krishna consciousness and then they say, well, it's too much. Why are you controlling? Why are you, well, we are not, why are you saying, why there's so many rules and regulations, you can't eat this, you can't eat that, you can't do this, you can't do that. Why are you saying all these things? Well, for your own good. Swartham. But unfortunately, people don't know what is Swartham. If some guru says, oh, do what you want, eat what you want, sleep with whom you want, life is all meant to enjoy. After all, why did the God give senses? Is God a fool? Think about it. Is God a fool? He gave senses to do sense gratification. And they'll present it so nicely. I won't name those people here, but you might have already heard. God gave senses to enjoy. Otherwise, he would have not even given the facility, right? So that is the height of speculation. Following no scriptures, following no Bhagavatam, no Bhagavad Gita. It's like the Krishna himself is speaking here. What more can we, do? Krishna himself is speaking in Bhagavad Gita at least 10 times, become my devotee, right? Take shelter of me, manmana bhavad bhakto. But people draw, even after reading Gita, people draw so many false interpretations. So therefore, we have to be careful and so that we are not cheated, first of all. And if we can be via medium to help others so that they are not cheated, that's a great service for those who are interested. Because less people will be interested to buy diamonds. More people will be interested to buy potatoes. We have to pay the price to buy diamonds. And the currency is sincerity. The currency is faith. The currency is devotion. The currency is laulyam, spiritual eagerness. The currency is disciple means discipline. This is the currency. If we do not pay the right currency, we cannot get the right thing we are looking for, we'll get a cheap thing. Also called sahajiya, right? Sahaj means, cheap, simple. It's not so simple. You want to conquer the unconquerable? Getting material things is very simple, actually. But conquering the unconquerable, it is not that simple, but it is, if someone is simple like these patnis here, Brahmana patnis, it's very simple. Simple for simple. Prabhupada said, bhakti is simple for simple. But if someone thinks, oh, I can do it on my own, through my knowledge, through my skills, through my money, through my beauty, or any other material things, no. What is the currency? Bhakti. Bhakti jitatam, right? Bhakta baddham, bhakti. Tvam bhakti damnasi maya niruddha. I'll tie you so strongly with my bhakti ropes, you cannot escape. Vilamangal Thakur says. So Krishna is tied by the ropes of bhakti, Damodar Leela, tied by the ropes of bhakti, conquered. Mother Shoda conquered. Hare Krishna. Sorry if I went on a tangent.
No, that was so helpful, Prabhuji, all of that, for me especially, so thank you.
Hare Krishna. So we'll pause here, but I wanted to ask, I'm going to New Vrindavan tomorrow for the next 3 days. Then I'm going to Farmington for next 3 days, and I'll be back next Friday evening. So it'll be a little hard for me to, continue the Bhagavatam calls from there. So I want to ask you all how you all want to proceed. Any thoughts? Like, do you want to continue reading yourself as you have done in the past, or you want to read some other thing like Nectar of Instruction, etc. Both are fine for me. Any thoughts anyone has?
When will be back?
Friday, next Friday. So I'll go tomorrow morning and be back next Friday. So about 5 days.
Okay. Have a wonderful Jatra, Prabhuji. Please pray for us, to Lord and the Maharaj also, for our spiritual progress.
Very well. You're always in my prayers. So you want to read Nectar of Instruction, because sometimes the recording and the past, there was some issues there. I want to make sure the flow of recording also is smooth, because many devotees hear afterwards.
So you want us to do Nectar Instruction?
Yeah, you can start with like verse 1.
Sure.
And
Sure, Prabhuji. Will do.
okay.
Hare Krishna, Krishna.
Okay, then, so Vipul Prabhu, Baldev Prabhu, and Sudhir Prabhu will coordinate. So please join and hear Nectar of Instruction. It's really nectarian book. That's why it's called Nectar of Instruction. The next 5 days, yeah, please continue the reading or the discussion, and I will try to share. There might be some classes, so I'll be fortunate to meet His Gauranga Darshan Prabhu on Thursday evening at Farmington. If you all want to join that class, I'll share the recording or live or whatever channel they launch, that there would be something on Thursday, so you can join that. And I've also called him to Tampa, so in his next trip to US, he might be able to come to bless us all with this association. So anything else before we wrap up?
No, but thank you so much, Prabhuji. And definitely, we would love to be a part of that.
Yes, absolutely. I'll share the darshans from New Vrindavan, Detroit, and Farmington as well.
Yep.
Yes, thank you for everything, Prabhuji, and all blessings and safe travels.
Very Hari. Thank you.
People.
Grantaraj Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam Purana ki jai, Jagat Guru Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai, Samaveta Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki jai, Pancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha, Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namo. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Jai Śrīla Prabhupada.
Dandavat Pranam. Hare Krishna.
Haribol, and
Hare